You're sitting in seat 23A on an airplane, and the pilot announces, "We're going to fly through a digital world where everything is recorded in a special notebook." You might be curious, how does that actually work? Imagine you have a really thick, never-ending diary. This diary is like a big book of transactions. Every time someone sends or receives Bitcoin, it's written down in this diary. Each page has timestamps and details about the transactions, just like how your diary records your days. But here's the tricky part. Instead of one person writing in the diary all the time, many people take turns writing pages. These pages are called blocks, and they're put together to form a chain, hence the name blockchain. And because everyone can see every single page in this never-ending notebook, it's super transparent. So you might ask, is this really secure? How does everyone know which transactions are true? Okay, so let's dive into how Bitcoin actually works. Well, Bitcoin works kind of like a giant digital notebook. Imagine each page represents a transaction made with the cryptocurrency. Every time someone sends or receives Bitcoins, it's written down on one of these pages. And here's the surprising part. You're sitting in seat 23A when you hear someone mention they just sent some Bitcoins to their friend. That transaction gets added to this digital notebook right away. Think of it as a real-time ledger that everyone can see and trust because it's decentralized and secure. Now, not only does each page record the transactions, but these pages are also linked together in a chain, forming an unbreakable sequence. This is what gives Bitcoin its name, Bitcoin block or blockchain. It's like having a notebook where every page references the page before it, making sure no one can ever alter past entries without being noticed. And here's another fun detail. Anyone can contribute to this notebook. Volunteers all around the world help verify these transactions and add new pages. These people are called miners, and their job is crucial because they ensure everything is fair and accurate by solving complex puzzles that validate each transaction. So, when you hear about Bitcoin security and transparency, it's all thanks to this giant digital notebook where every transaction is recorded for everyone to see. It's like having a public diary that no one can erase or change without being caught. You're sitting in your cozy living room, holding a digital notebook that you trust to keep track of everything. Your passwords, important notes, even your financial transactions. You've been using it for months now, and today you decide to check the latest entries. But what if someone tried to change one of those entries? What if they wanted to cheat by modifying an old password or changing a transaction amount? That's where things get interesting. This notebook isn't just a single book. It's actually many copies spread across the internet. This way, no single person can cheat and change what's written in the notebook. Think about it like this. Imagine you have a bunch of friends who all have their own copy of that same digital notebook. Every time something is added or changed in one copy, all your friends get an update, so they know exactly what's going on. If someone tries to sneakily change anything in their version of the notebook, everyone else with a copy will quickly notice and reject any changes. This magical copying system is called the blockchain, and it's the backbone of how Bitcoin actually works. The blockchain isn't just one book. It's many copies that all agree on what the truth is at any given moment. This makes sure no one can cheat, because everyone has a say in what gets written down. Imagine you have a special notebook where every page contains a new transaction. To keep everything neat and secure, each page gets locked with a special code. This is exactly what happens in the world of Bitcoin. So, let's say you make a transaction. Your computer creates a unique code for that transaction using something called cryptography. Think of it like a lock on your notebook page. Only one key can unlock this lock, the private key. Now, here's the surprising part. When someone makes a transaction, they have to use their own private key to sign off on it. It's like having a fingerprint that proves you are who you say you are. No one else has access to your private key, so no one can just change or remove your transactions without your permission. And this works both ways. If someone tries to trick the system by claiming they did something they didn't do, or try to delete their own transaction, they won't be able to because only they have that unique lock and its matching key. This ensures that every transaction is genuine and immutable. Once a page is locked, it stays as it is, just like how you can't erase or change your fingerprint. So far, You've seen how Bitcoin transactions are like writing on invisible pages with a special ink that only you and the receiver can see. But what about when someone tries to cheat? That's where these amazing helpers called miners come in. Imagine you're sitting in seat 23A on an airplane, and everyone else is reading the same newspaper article. Suddenly, one person starts scribbling in pencil, trying to change a word here or there. But all around you, other people are keeping watch. They see those changes happening and quickly write down the original version of the article to make sure it stays as it should. In Bitcoin, these helpers are called miners. Their job is to keep an eye on transactions being broadcasted across the network. When a transaction comes in, say from you sending some Bitcoin to your friend, a miner checks if everything looks right. If someone tries to cheat by changing the amount or the sender, the miner spots it immediately and makes sure everyone sees the original version. Here's the surprising part. Once the miner updates all the copies of the ledger to reflect the correct transaction, their work is done for that block. But other miners are constantly on call, ready to do the same job if needed. This way, no one can ever cheat the system without being caught by the network of helpers. All right, so far we've talked about how Bitcoin's network is like an airplane with thousands and thousands of helpers, all working together to keep everything running smoothly. And you're not just a passenger on this flight. Every time you use Bitcoin, you become part of that network too. Imagine you're sitting in seat 23A on our imaginary flight, and suddenly it's your turn to take over as the pilot for a bit. You know how the captain usually does all the flying, but now it's different. You get to hold the controls for just a moment. You get to help steer this plane. When you use Bitcoin to buy something or send money to a friend, you're not just hitting buttons on a screen. What you're doing is becoming part of that network. Just like how every passenger gets a copy of the flight logs during emergencies, even if they never know about it. When you use Bitcoin, you get a copy of the digital notebook too. Every time you make a transaction or check your balance, you're helping to keep the entire system running. Sure, there are millions upon millions of transactions happening every day, but each one is like adding another piece to this massive puzzle. You're contributing your part, just as every other person using Bitcoin does. And here's the surprising part. By being a part of this network, you gain something special. You become someone who understands how it all works under the hood. It's not about buying and holding or getting rich quick, though those might be tempting side effects. No, what you get is a deeper understanding of technology that's reshaping our world. So, if you'll never look at planes the same way after this, here's what to do. Subscribe to Market Decoded. You're now part of something bigger, and there's always more to learn about how markets, trading, and cryptocurrencies actually work. Join us, and let's decode the markets together.